How's it going, everyone? It's Caleb Lomity here, and today we're going to be talking about a first-person shooter game on the Xbox Series X. This is what's called a boomer shooter. I guess that's now the name they're calling these games. I don't know when that started, but I guess that's what they are now. They're boomer shooters. I like these games. I've always liked these retro first-person shooter games, but I don't know. I guess that's what they're dubbed now. But this game is called Witch Rise. This is kind of a cutesy version of a first-person shooter, and it's definitely retro-inspired. This is one of those games where there's no aiming up or down. It's just left and right. You're just aiming left and right, and you're going around this kind of maze-like area trying to figure out how to get to each boss to defeat each boss. And to get to the boss, you have to find the key to the boss room for each area. And it's pretty simple. The game itself actually is pretty fun. The biggest flaw with the game is actually its length. It's very, very short. It's only about an hour long, and that is including with achievements, like full on 1,000 out of 1,000 gamer score. This is a very short game, and honestly, it doesn't really have a whole lot of replay value, and that's probably the biggest flaw of this game, because I don't mind a short game if it has a lot of replay value, and, you know, a lot of, like, arcadey style games have that more, but this one doesn't really feel like something that I'd go back and play very often. But the game itself, it's still not too bad. It's a really cheap game, too. It's only like $5, so that's not too bad either. The game itself, it's your standard first-person shooter, but it's very cutesy. You are playing as this witch girl who basically got turned into a pig. She got turned into a pig girl by an older witch who was, I guess, jealous of her. And you're basically going on a mission to destroy the evil witch who is hiding in this gigantic lava area. So that's the whole point of this game, and along the way you have to fight a few different bosses to get to the final witch. I think there's 4 bosses in total. And it's kind of interesting because this game, it's very easy to get lost in. There's kind of like the whole time I was playing this game, I never felt like I knew where I was or where I was going. I was kind of just winging it because I had no map. I don't know if there was a way to pull up the map, and I just didn't know. I read that you can buy a map, but I never saw where to buy a map at, so I never bothered with it. So I was kind of just wandering aimlessly the entire time, but I did end up finding everything, and you know, well, everything that I need to do to beat the game, so I guess that's good. It's just, I feel like if you like games where you're kind of lost and you have no real direction, I feel like this is the game for you, because there isn't really a sense of direction. It really is just kind of wandering and hoping to run across what you're looking for, and just full-on exploring these maze-like areas. And I think that's kind of cool in a way. I do prefer my games to be a little bit more linear and just to have like secret areas and stuff like that. But I think that it's at least a different change of pace. You know, it's a nice change of pace. It was definitely different from other first-person shooters I've played, and I did enjoy that aspect of it. Something else that is different about this is definitely the fact that this is a first-person shooter, and obviously since it's more about like this witch girl, there's no guns in this first-person shooter. It's all like magic wands that you collect, these magic staffs that you can find, and each one has basically a different attack that it's able to do, and you can also destroy different crates based on the color of the wand itself, or the staff itself. So that's pretty cool too. So they did add some little puzzle mechanics, I guess you could say, some different areas that you can only get to if you have certain staffs, and I like that type of stuff. I think that it's all pretty well designed, and overall the game looks pretty darn good. I like the way that it looks. I like this cutesy look to it. The only thing I wasn't a big fan of was there's this like fog on the map constantly, and I didn't really get that, and I tried to turn it off. There's a few like visual settings that you can mess with, but none of them really seem to affect it, so I didn't really know if there's anything I can do to fix that. So I'm not a huge fan of the fog, but it is what it is. The actual enemies are pretty simple. It's usually just like they touch you, they hurt you. Later on, as you go on, there's a few that start to change a little bit. There's like some spiders that hang from the ceiling. They can shoot webs at you and stuff like that. There's these little flying eyeball things that shoot things out of their eyes. There's these like goblin orc looking things in the very last part of the game that have bombs, and they can throw the bombs at you and they'll shake your entire screen. So there are quite a few different enemy types. They're all pretty simple, and they all take, I think pretty much every single one I fought took about like 3 hits to destroy, 2 or 3 hits. So none of them are super tough, and I was playing through on normal mode. So none of them are super tough. The game itself isn't super difficult once you get, you know, the staffs that you need. If you're running around with just a sword, which I was doing at first. If you're running around with just the sword, it is difficult. But once you get the staff, the staff definitely makes the game a lot easier. So as soon as you find a staff, you definitely want to be using that for the majority of this game. Now, I was talking about being lost earlier, and actually when I got lost, I completely skipped the first boss by accident, so I had to go back and beat the first boss. I beat the second boss and the third boss, and I had to go back and beat the first boss because I hadn't beaten that one yet. So I did find it kind of funny that I was able to go beat the second boss before I even saw the first boss. I thought that was kind of funny. The boss fights I actually do like quite a bit. They're really well designed. Each one has kind of like an opening, and you have to wait for the opening to be able to hit the boss and do damage to it. The first boss that you run into is basically like this tortoise-looking thing, and basically when it has its head out, that's when you can do damage to it. There's a guardian that lights up purple. He has like this orb that lights up purple on his chest, and he can shoot things at you, and when he lights up, that's when you can hit him. And the witch, actually, the final boss, which is the witch, is actually the easiest boss in the game. I had the easiest time beating the witch. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the witch should have had some special powers or something to be a little bit tougher, because she was really easy to beat. I thought that they were going to do something cool with the wands, because each wand is a different color, so I was just like, oh, maybe the witch will swap colors, and each time she swaps color, you have to swap to that specific wand to do damage. To me, that would have been like a really cool idea, make use of all the different wands that you find, all the different staffs that you find. But no, there's nothing like that. It's just you just hit the witch a bunch with one of the staffs, and you're good. And then you beat the game. There is a level up system, and as you level up, you'll gain more HP and more mana for your staffs. And the mana will also recover over time. So even if you run out of mana, if you just wait a few seconds, it will start to come back on its own. So that's helpful as well. But you can also find mana bottles, and that will refill it a little bit quicker if you're in a rush or if you're in a pinch. So overall, what do I think about this game? I think it's fun. I think it was fun for at least one playthrough. I don't know if it's something I'd go back and play, just because, again, there's not a whole lot of replay value here. If I do go back and play it, maybe I'd go and try to replay it on hard mode instead. Just, try something different, because I already beat it on normal mode, just to try something else. However, it's only $5 at the same time. So if you're just wanting, to waste an hour and just try something different, hey, you know what? Maybe this is the game for you. If you're looking for something that is a cutesy, shoot 'em up, or a first-person shooter, if you're looking for a cutesy first-person shooter game, this one is definitely that. It is a nice homage to retro first-person shooters, but with a cutesy twist, and I haven't really seen any first-person shooters really do that very often. So that's pretty cool. So $5, an hour of gameplay, it's not too bad. I like the game. I'm not going to say it's, I can't really tell you if it's worth it or not, because, again, you have to decide on your own, is $5 worth it for an hour? I mean, when you think about it, a movie ticket's like, what, $13, and a movie's usually like, what, an hour and 30 minutes long? So I think if you look at it that way, the game's actually pretty fairly priced. So, yeah, I'd say, you know what, it's not a bad game, and it's not a bad price for it either. For even though it's only an hour long, I feel like the $5 kind of makes up for it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe button down below, and I'll talk to you in the next one. You have a wonderful day. Bye bye.